Hello, welcome back to Potter Plot Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rate them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today, we are going to be talking about another one of my all-time favorite films, The Terminator. The Terminator was released in 1984, and it stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and Michael Biehn. It was directed by James Cameron, and it was produced by John Daly and Derek Gibson. Don't worry, I won't talk about that the whole review. Okay, so The Terminator. Released in 1984, it's a classic. It tells the story of Sarah Connor, who's a young woman living in LA, and her life isn't really going all that great. Her job sucks, her date cancels on her in the last minute, and there is a serial killer going around in the area killing women named Sarah Connor. Okay, there's already 2 women named Sarah Connor that are dead, and she fears that she may be up next. However, there is a man who's there to protect her, and his name is Kyle Reese. What happened is that in the future, we had a nuclear fallout worldwide, because people invented a national defense security system that's run by AI, artificial intelligence. And what happens is that it becomes self-aware and it views humans as a threat. And so it nukes the entire world and it knocks out half the human population. And so one man rises up and he teaches people to fight back against the machines, because Skynet creates robots to wipe out all the other people. And that man is named John Connor. He teaches them to rise up and to fight back against the machines. And after years and years and years of war, they're just about to win. But right before they can win, Skynet sends a Terminator, that's what the machines are called, they're called Terminators, back in time to kill John Connor's mother, Sarah Connor. Now, Skynet knows that humans are screwed without John Connor. And so, since they're about to win, they're like, well, if there's no John Connor, then they're not going to win. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, well, why send the Terminator back to 1984? Why not send it back to kill Sarah when she was a baby? Or when John was a baby? Well, human records were wiped out during the nuclear fallout. And so all they know is that Sarah Connor was living in LA in 1984. But, so the Terminator goes back in time, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he has human skin and flesh and blood, and it helps him to blend in. So that humans won't, be like, walking robot, what's up? And it goes to kill Sarah Connor, but there's 3 Sarah Connors in the area, and so it's like, well, I don't know which one it is, so I'm going to kill all 3 of them. It kills 2 of them, and there's the last one, which is our hero, Sarah Connor. Now, Kyle Reese was sent back in time by John Connor to protect Sarah Connor from the Terminator, so that John won't be wiped out from history. So, Kyle and Sarah go on this big adventure, running and hiding from the Terminator and from police officers. Because obviously nobody would believe them, they tell that story. And people don't believe them. They think that Kyle is crazy and that Sarah's like some victim being kidnapped or whatever. Really, really great movie, classic, great movie. So what's my pros for this movie? The score. The score is one of my all-time favorites. Now, the first movie doesn't have my favorite rendition of the Terminator film. My favorite rendition of the Terminator theme is actually from Dark Fate. But the Terminator theme is so great, man. It's one of my all-time favorites. I love the Terminator theme song. And also, the music, it's funny because this movie has a different kind of score. Aside from the theme song, the music in this movie is like very retro. Like it sounds like something out of like an old Nintendo game. It's very interesting, but it works. It was very well casted. I mean, come on. Who else can play the Terminator? Nobody but Schwarzenegger can play the Terminator. That's his signature role. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator. The story is great. It's very well thought out. Fun fact for you. This movie is based on a nightmare that James Cameron had. He was in Italy one year, and he was by himself, and he was very sick, and he was in and out of sleep, and he dreamt about two people being chased by a killer robot. It's thus the Terminator was born. One of the great things about this movie is that it's hard to make a time travel movie and avoid plot holes, which is why filmmakers don't typically like to make time travel movies. But this movie, as far as I know, it doesn't have any plot holes. Really great. The movie is scary and dark, just like a nightmare. So that's definitely a plus. It's not like the later Terminator films where they just sort of just became just action movies. This one's actually dark, and if I watched this when I was a kid, I probably would have been scared by it. The relationship between Sarah and Kyle is very good. They have good chemistry. The makeup on Arnold Schwarzenegger is really good. Really. I mean, they had some amazing makeup artists in this film. Also, I won't spoil it for you, but there is a jump scare toward the end of this film. That's one of my all-time favorite jump scares. It's so great. Not at the very, very end, but it's toward the end. So don't think like, I'm spoiling it like, oh my gosh, the last shot is the Terminator rises up or something. No. It's toward the end. It's a really good jump scare, and the suspense in this movie is great. Now, this isn't a perfect movie. I do have some cons with this, so let's go over the cons. For one thing, this movie has poor special effects. Now, some of the special effects are really good, and they still hold up, but a lot of the special effects don't. And because this movie is supposed to be kind of scary, the special effects kind of take that away from it when you see how cheesy a lot of it looks. There's a car chase between Sarah and Kyle and the Terminator. And at the end of this car chase, they get surrounded by police. And then the camera pans over to the Terminator's car, and it's just gone with no explanation. Now, Terminators, I don't know if you know this, but Terminators can't fly. They can't turn invisible. So it just disappears, which is like super random, and it makes no sense. Somebody obviously would have seen them leave because there was a bunch of cop cars coming right at them. It makes no sense, and I don't like that. There's also a scene where Kyle Reese knocks out a police officer while he's handcuffed, but the cop gets knocked out extremely easily. And when you watch it, it's like, really? Like, yeah, it's really dumb. And then my last issue with this is that, so Terminators, regardless of whether they have flesh or not, if it's a Cyberdyne Systems Model 101, it's the same robot. It's just some of them happen to have flesh on them. Well, it's weird because the ones that don't have flesh on them, they walk differently than ones when they do have flesh. Even if you took the flesh off of it, it would still walk differently. Like, why does the flesh affect how it walks? Like, is that just me, or is there an explanation for that? Because that seems weird to me. That might be, like, the only plot hole in this movie, is that for whatever reason, a Cyberdyne Systems Model 101 without the flesh walks differently versus if it does have the flesh on. So that is really weird. But don't get me wrong. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's almost perfect. It's a really, really, really great film. I am going to give The Terminator a 95. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can subscribe to Potty Planet Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. If you have a video request, let me know in the comments down below, and much love.